Boria Majumdar, consulting sports editor, India Today, is joining us on the broadcast. We are also being joined by Vikrant Gupta, senior executive editor, India Today. Boria, I was just looking at a few updates that you have sent about Mahendra Singh Dhoni, about how he is practicing, is still in fact getting ready. I don't understand what is it when when we were told that his name will be reinducted if he makes it to the World Cup. What does that mean?
So, for example, if he has a great IPL, for example, if he makes himself available for domestic cricket in the next 2 months and he does make an improbable, unrealistic comeback for the World Cup, in that case, he will play the necessary number of matches. The next contract will come out in September, Ankit, end of September rather, and the World Cup is in October. So if MSD does make a comeback for the World Cup, the next contract for 21-22 will have, or rather 2021 will have MS Dhoni, which is for the following year. So by not being in the central contract, frankly, means nothing. Does it mean retirement? The answer is no. Does it mean MS Dhoni has no chance of a comeback? The answer is no. The most important three questions. One, will MS Dhoni, now that he is practicing, play domestic cricket in February and March? Based on that, we will know if his intention is to actually make himself in the reckoning for the World Cup. Two, will he have a stellar IPL, and if he does that count for a consideration for the World Cup? I was hearing our VO and we were saying Sanju Samson and Rishabh Pant, for God's sake, do not rule out KL Rahul as wicketkeeper, because if I understand the Indian team management's thought process, KL Rahul, if Rishabh Pant doesn't make it, he is the number one person at this point in time for that wicket-keeping slot. That frees up a middle order position. So several questions. Retirement, I can tell you he's not retiring.
Okay.
Whether or not he will make a comeback, billion-dollar question. He has already started training. If his body holds up, and this is what he's told me in December.
Yes.
End of December, I met him in Delhi at a lunch meeting, and he said, I will start training, and if my body holds up,
okay,
which I will figure out by middle of January,
yes,
and start training. So that's what he's done. If his body holds up, then maybe he will start to play domestic cricket,
okay,
and we will then see what happens.
You know, Vikrant, for somebody of the stature of Mahendra Singh Dhoni, his stellar record as the captain of the Indian cricket team, somebody also after Saurav Ganguly, we saw complete turnaround even in the attitude of the Indian cricket team under Mahendra Singh Dhoni's captainship. For somebody like Mahendra Singh Dhoni, when me, you and other people, we start speculating, discussing when will he retire, it is something for him to decide on his own. Where does he stand mentally? You've been speaking to him and people around him.
Well, as Boria said, it's a billion-dollar question whether or not he'll make his retirement public. Even I don't have any answer to that. But Ankit, I'm sure people who matter in Indian cricket, the BCCI, the captain, the coach and the selectors, they must have spoken to MS Dhoni. Not all of them, maybe a couple of them would have. And I'm told that in December, the Indian team management, maybe the captain spoke to him, asked him. And Dhoni did say that he wasn't very sure, he wasn't very keen on an India comeback. Now, for somebody who's not played cricket at all since July 10th, he won't have got this contract. The contract period runs from October 19 till about September 20. So if he's not available, he's not played any cricket, and they're not very sure about his future, obviously this was on the expected lines. Now, as Boria said, he started practicing, which is fair enough. But the domestic season is soon going to end for Jharkhand. The 2020 is over, the 50-50 is over, the 4-day matches aren't, there aren't too many matches left for Jharkhand. So the IPL, yes, the IPL he'll play. I'm not saying that the IPL is going to be his swan song. Maybe the next IPL also he'll play. Somebody who presided over the biggest transition in Indian cricket as the captain in 2010, 11, 12.
Right.
I don't think Mahendra Singh Dhoni would want to disturb the Indian team combination. If the Indians have gone in with youngsters, I don't think Dhoni would want to force himself. Yes, okay, his dream was shattered during the World Cup. The World Cup was supposed to be his last assignment.
Yes.
Whether or not Dhoni wants another go is a different and a very difficult question, but I'm sure the team also knows now that they cannot bank on Mahendra Singh Dhoni's availability.
They cannot bank on Mahendra Singh Dhoni. But Boria, if I can bring you in for a quick answer, for somebody like Mahendra Singh Dhoni, at least whenever he decides to retire, that should have been on the cricket pitch. Not his fans, those who have always for many years have followed him. There should have been one grand gesture, one grand game for Mahendra Singh Dhoni before he goes out, isn't it?
Look, he was definitely going to do it, or would have done it if India made the World Cup final. I mean, that New Zealand game, the one thing that he kept telling me when we met was, why didn't I dive? Why didn't I dive? And the fact that he went to serve the army was because of that. He said that dive, that New Zealand dismissal haunted him, Ankit. That is why he went to the army. It was a kind of a escape route for him to forget the World Cup. So what you said can still happen. It can be in the final of the IPL. It can be the last game of the IPL. We don't know. But you know, retirement is a personal call. Entirely personal call. Maybe he would have wanted it to do it in a particular manner. That has not happened. Will he walk into sunset? We don't know. We will forever celebrate MS Dhoni. But as I said,
absolutely,
do not rule out anything yet. But between Vikrant and me, we are confirmed about one thing, that the comeback into the Indian team at this scale out of 100 is 98% improbable.
Okay.
But because it is MS Dhoni, we will give it a 2% chance.
All right, Boria, Vikrant, I'll have to leave it there. Thank you for sharing your wisdom on this very important story. Lots of cricket fans, in fact, are waiting anxiously. Possibly, like a Mahendra Singh Dhoni fan, once more, I would also want to see him in donning the India Blues. Thank you so much for joining us with all those details. With that, we are slipping into a very short break. News and updates continue on the other side. I have a lot more for you. Stay tuned.